Hello fellow artists, I'm here to show you a little bit about how to make molds and casts with ComposiMold reusable mold making materials using our ComposiMold, our ImPRESSive Putty, and our Composite Cast resins. We started off with a 3D printed part that I made from downloading the logo from the internet, and I 3D printed that, and we're now putting that into aluminum foil that I'm using as a mold box, and I put a little bit of polymer clay on the back to hold that into place. We're all set to make our mold. First, we spray it with a little bit of bubble buster, which reduces surface tension so the bubbles don't stick, and then we pour over the melted ComposiMold. The ComposiMold for something this size takes about 35 to 45 seconds to melt, and bigger sizes will take a little bit more. You usually put it right in the microwave or a double boiler, and we let that cool to solidify. This took about 30 minutes in the freezer to chill, and then we remove the aluminum foil as our mold box, and we have our mold. We just take out the original master shape from that mold, and we have our mold. There we go. We then clean up the edges of that mold a little bit just by cutting off the extra ComposiMold that went around the backside of the master. This is just cut off with some scissors or an X-Acto knife, but don't throw out that extra material. That is reusable. Because remember, the advantage of the ComposiMold is remeltable and reusable. So now we're all set. Just to show you the other mold making material that we have is our ImPRESSive Putty. This is also a remeltable, reusable mold making material. We melt in the microwave. This takes about, for this size, which is about 3 ounces of ImPRESSive Putty, took about 35 seconds to melt in the microwave. It softens into a soft putty, and then you let it cool a little bit, and then you just press it over your object. You don't need a mold box at all for this. One of the advantages of ImPRESSive Putty is it's a slightly higher temperature capability. You can handle up to about 185 degrees Fahrenheit, whereas ComposiMold melts at about 135 degrees Fahrenheit. You let that cool to solidify, and you pull out your original, just like we do with the ComposiMold. Now, the ComposiMold will get you a little bit better details on the edges because it forms around it, this pores around it, whereas in ImPRESSive Putty you have to press it into shape, so you're going to lose a little bit of details on the edges. And there's our two reusable, remeltable mold making materials, ComposiMold and ImPRESSive Putty. We're going to use the ImPRESSive Putty first to make a Composite Cast, clear cast, and plastic casting. This will consist of part A and part B. The advantage of the Composite Cast resin is very versatile. You can be off by 10, 15, even 20% in your mixture, and it will still come out as a hard plastic. Which is why in this video you don't see me using a scale or any separate. I'm just pouring the things together. Adding 1 or 2 drops of the ComposiMold colorants. Doesn't take a lot. One of those little tiny containers is enough to do over a gallon worth of resin. And I mixed that pretty thoroughly, and it makes a bright red color. We have 10 different colors that we have for choices that we can use in the Composite Cast resin, and we're going to pour that into our ImPRESSive Putty mold. The activator that's in the ImPRESSive Putty acts as a mold release, so you don't really have to add an extra mold release. And if you do, with the Composite Cast resin, pretty much anything works as a mold release. Typically we suggest vegetable oil or mineral oil, and that will work fine. ComposiMold has been around for over 10 years now. It started out because I used to make a lot of mistakes with these non-reusable mold making materials, the silicones and latexes, and made a lot of mistakes, and I thought there might be a better way of doing it. So my background is material science. We started to develop this and made ComposiMold, reusable mold making materials, and then we went on to ImPRESSive Putty a few years after that, and we've been continually adding products since then. So after this Composite Cast has set up, we will let it cure overnight. It takes about 14 hours to cure, and when it's finished, we will remove it from the ImPRESSive Putty mold. Now this mold can be reused, which we will reuse it, but you can also remelt this mold anytime you want to make another mold, just by sticking it back into the microwave. Ta-da! Just making a keychain. I'm adding a little hole here. So that's the ImPRESSive Putty. Now let's move back to the ComposiMold reusable mold making material, which is the pourable version. I'm going to show you in some chocolate just because it's fun. We could have also used the Composite Cast, but you don't want to use the Composite Cast resin and then go to chocolate because you don't want to eat the resin. ComposiMold starts off as a food contact safe material, and because we're just going to keep it as food contact in this case, we'll be okay with the chocolate. So don't worry, this chocolate is edible. Go ahead and take a bite. We've made a couple different versions here. We've used the white chocolate that we're using here. We've also used the dark chocolate. ComposiMold is a pretty versatile mold making material. You can use it for the edible treats, such as the chocolates and the fondants shown here. You can also use it for non-edible materials such as Composite Stone, Composite Cast, ComposiMold Plaster, and other resins, plus soaps, waxes, and more. And you can remelt it and reuse the mold anytime you want. You can use it for simple molds, as this one shown here, or you can use it for cup block molds, or two-part molds, or even brush-on molds. Ta-da! There is our white chocolate edible treat candy bar. Let me know if you have any questions about ComposiMold and ComposiMold products, and enjoy! We hope to see you soon!